All right, folks. So, crypto market updates. As mentioned yesterday, I said, even if this continues to be bullish, expect us to retest the prior resistance and establish it as support. Expect it. And that's what happened. We came all the way down, we retested that line, and now it's bouncing. Right? Now, the question lies is we're playing musical chairs, we're playing hot potato. Right? Obviously, I've got my chips on the table and I'm long Bitcoin, gunning for a rally over the next week or so. I could obviously be wrong, right? The reason why I say it's a game of musical chairs and hot potato is because we've got that Black Swan event on August 1st. I personally want to sell into strength and be mostly in fiat a couple of weeks leading up to it. I don't want to wait till the last week or the last few days. And if that means I have to cut myself short on some profit, then so be it, right? That said, the question lies, are we going to get some pre-FUD FOMO? What do I mean by that? Are we going to get some pre-fear, uncertainty, and doubt, fear of missing out? Right? As in, are we going to get a rally before the big dump? Right? I think the markets are kind of choppy right now. I think a lot of the markets are choppy. The price range has gotten really tight. I'd be very, very careful chasing. I'd be very, very careful chasing all-time high breakouts. I know Litecoin's be making a move and everyone's all excited and emotional about it. I've just been staying out. And that's okay. I call it, it's a new term that I've been seeing recently called JOMO. The joy of missing out, right? I'm comfortable with missing out on things in the markets. I've grown to be comfortable with that. I don't feel like I need to chase every stupid move in the market all the time. I follow simple rules. And if that means that I follow my rules and I miss out on something, then so be it. It's all good. Eventually, when the game of musical chairs ends, everyone who was chasing all those really, really high markets will have the rug pulled out from under them, and there won't be a floor. It'll be a free fall, panic, free for all, because when the game of musical chairs ends, it's not just going to be a matter of like you don't have a chair. It's going to be a matter of people beating each other with the chairs. It'll be a riot, a race to the down side, right? Do I know with absolute certainty that that's all going to happen anytime soon? No. If you're looking for absolute certainty in the markets, I assure you, you will find none. Right? Anyone who tells you with absolute conviction that they know it's going to happen in the markets is likely lying to you or a scammer. Learn to make your own decisions. Learn to look at both sides of the market. Learn to be adaptable, to manage risk. Adapt or die, right? Learn to take responsibility for everything that happens in the markets. Understand the risks. Acknowledge the risks. Embrace the risk. Don't let fear control you. When you conquer fear in trading, then you will know how to make consistent returns, right? Those who fear loss attract loss. Doesn't mean that you don't manage risk and you don't acknowledge the risk, but don't have paralysis by analysis, right? Be bold, but don't be stupid, right? Find the middle path. Anyways, so will Bitcoin continue on this trajectory? We shall see. Do I know? No, I don't know. Am I okay with not knowing? Sure. Are the markets choppy? Yes. I would say we're kind of on yellow alert on most markets as far as choppiness is concerned. You know, there's a lot of volume that is dried up on Poloniex. We're not seeing those mega rallies that we saw that people have been spoiled with for the past few months, right? I personally think that the choppiness is a result of market indecision, right? How much new money is still coming in? We don't know. But the money that's currently in feels like everyone's kind of undecided. Everyone's on the fence, right? The markets are on the fence. Why is everything on the fence? Because Bitcoin has a known Black Swan event coming up in August 1st. That's the beautiful thing with those events. This isn't like an unknown random event that just throws you off your game, you know, some random curveball thrown at you. This is something that's known, right? I think inherently a lot of people are bullish on crypto, but also nervous about this event on August 1st. Could lead to a network split, could lead to two Bitcoins, could lead to one chain attacking the other chain, could lead to this, could lead to that, could lead to chaos in the markets, could lead to all kinds of things. I don't necessarily see it as a positive event unless somehow all the miners signal for segregated witness prior to that event. And if they do, and we completely avoid, if we have total consensus, then obviously I think that could be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin would immediately have a rally, and I think that would be bullish on a fundamental level. We'd be able to continue on this trajectory. But as long as we're on the fence, as long as things are uncertain, the markets will reflect that uncertainty, right? It's showing signs of bullishness, but it's also choppy. It's also undecided. It could also flop. Maybe we don't get the rally in the next week or so leading up to it, right? Maybe we don't get to break the all-time highs leading up to it. I'm prepared for that risk, right? You need to acknowledge that risk. If you're uncomfortable with the risk, if you find yourself afraid and scared, then perhaps your position size is a little bit too high for your comfort level, right? Now, there's a lot of talk about how to deal with this. Some articles are saying you should have all your Bitcoin on your own wallet. Trezor, the good thing with Trezor is they have the option to support either or. I would just say this. One thing that is for sure, whether you keep it on your own wallet, make sure that your wallet supports the choice of either or. So Trezor does. And ones that don't have a clear support for either or, then I would say avoid those wallets, right? One thing's for certain, do not send any Bitcoin transactions anywhere around that time, that date, till this dust settles. If you send a Bitcoin transaction, you could lose money. Make sure you have whatever you want available. Does MyEther wallet support both? MyEther wallet deals with Ethereum, not an Ethereum problem. It's a Bitcoin problem. So what am I going to do? Well, they say I don't know if they fully support it. I think they're gonna tell you afterwards or not. So not as secure as a Trezor in my opinion, but if you keep your coins sitting tight, once the dust blows over, chances are you'll still have your money. And even if they don't support it, you can still likely use your seed and recover all your coins on an Electrum wallet by inserting the words, right? So it's still possible to recover. Now, they say don't keep your money on an exchange. Well, I say, if all my money's hiding scared, how am I going to make money? If we get tons of volatility leading up to it, during and after, how am I going to make money off of that? Right? I sure as heck am going to have money on an exchange. You know why? Because if you keep all your money on a wallet, then guess what? If the market bleeds 50%, then how the heck are you going to hedge against that? If all your Bitcoin is just sitting tight on a wallet. Now listen, I've got some long-term Bitcoin. About 20% of my stash is long-term. And that's just going to sit tight on the wall. I'm not moving that, whatever. And that's also going to ensure if we split and get two types of coins, hey, I'll have some coins to split. I'll get double Bitcoins on something, right? You know, great. With the rest of my money, it's going to be consolidated into dollars. Into dollars on multiple exchanges, ready to rock and roll. Lock and loaded, ready to buy some dips, to short some peaks, to play that volatility. It might be a marathon. I don't know about you, but my sword is sharpened and my shield is shined. I'm ready for it. Right? I don't mind the chaos. We get some volatility. I'd love that much better than some chop. As long as you're on the right side of the market and you're prepared and you understand the risks. But you know what they say, scared money don't make money, so. Right? It's that simple. Right? Any black swan event that I've seen in crypto has produced the highest profit returns, the possible profit returns. Right? You want to know one of the darkest days I've seen on Bitcoin? One of the darkest days I've seen in Bitcoin was when the unimaginable happened. When the price of Bitcoin capitulated and hit 166. And that was triggered. It was already in a bear trend, and that panic selling was triggered by Bitstamp, the largest Bitcoin exchange at the time, getting hacked. And that was absolute chaos. People were, the suicide hotlines were off the charts. People were capitulating, rage selling, big emotional posts on Reddit. I quit Bitcoin. I hate you, Bitcoin. You know, the Buttcoin subreddit was going nuts. The trolls were out in droves and armies. All the articles were coming out. Bitcoin's dead. Rest in peace. The unimaginable happened. $1,300 down to 166. Oh my, how it's the end of the world. Right? And man, look at that. Cheapest time you could have bought Bitcoin in the past 3 years. The most cheapest time. Scared money doesn't make money. Period. You know what we were doing? We were longing. We were long. 180 dip. I was so greedy. I was like, holy smokes. Didn't think I'd see this again. These prices, sweet. I missed out on buying cheap Bitcoin here. Now's my chance. Load the boat. Let's do this. And that was amazing. Right? That was one of the most profitable opportunities ever. So if we get a black swan and we end up with some crazy price, yeah, I did. Some crazy price, you know, all the way down into the gutter somewhere. What do you think I'm going to be doing? You know, what do you think I'm going to be doing? Panic selling with everyone else? No, I'm gonna have sold into cash long before that happens, right? I do plan on hedging into cash. I'm not going to be holding a ton of Bitcoin sitting on the exchanges, right? I'll be satisfied. I'm going to consolidate my altcoin bags. That's my plan. I'm going to be getting rid of most of my altcoin bags, except for 50% of my ATC, all of my CFI, and that's it. That's probably the only things I'm going to hold as far as altcoins are concerned. Everything else will get converted into Bitcoin and then convert into dollars. I don't care if each thing pulls off another 10x. I don't care if I miss out on some other pump or this or that. I really don't care, right? Because I see what happens to altcoins. We've all had a nice taste. When Bitcoin dumps, you know, altcoins don't survive, right? They bleed harder than Bitcoin. And they think they're all competitors and that they're all going to be safe. What happens to all those pairings? Look, the most liquid altcoin pairings are paired against BTC. If BTC gets royally messed up and confused and people don't know what's Bitcoin, what's what do you think's going to happen to altcoins? Well, maybe they'll start pumping. Maybe people will hedge into altcoins and altcoins will have another big rally. That's definitely possible, right? That's definitely possible. Hey, listen, when you know, I hedged heavy into alts here in this uncertainty and fight around here, and these altcoins start taking off like mad, right? So that's definitely a possibility, but the problem is, see, altcoins at this area were all in accumulation. They're all showing early signs of reversals. Go back and watch the updates from this period of time. They're all showing early signs of reversals. They're showing inverse head and shoulders, higher lows, breaking descending trend lines. I was like a broken record on all the altcoin markets. Oh, look at this. Reversal, early reversal, accumulation. Every chart we were looking at was like the same thing. And then they all popped off. Huge. Well, now a lot of altcoins aren't really like that. And yeah, there's a bunch of nice mid caps and stuff, and some of them might be really promising and such from these ICOs, but you also have to acknowledge we're in an ICO bubble, right? The markets are getting diluted with tokens, a dime a dozen. Every week there's a new token, this token, that token. Well, there's only so much money people have to start trading these tokens, right? So even a lot of these mid-cap tokens are kind of going flat right now. And I'm sure there's going to be a few gems that are going to pop off and go really big. You know, and if you can find the gems, then you'll probably make a lot of money. But, you know, who knows which ones it's going to be, right? Can I tell you with absolute certainty which ones are going to be the next 10x and which ones aren't? No. Right? So as traders, you have to acknowledge what it is you do know and what it is you don't know. Right? And you have to build a plan based on possibilities and probabilities. Right? So I assure you, if you are looking for absolutes in the markets, you will never find that comfort. Right? I mean, sometimes there are very high probability moves that just are pretty obvious. Like when Bitcoin breaks out of this and you see all these you know, these bull flags and pennants breaking out on a continuation, you could feel pretty darn confident that you're in a good bull trend and the trend is continuing, right? You know, sometimes I like to trade things that I feel there's a sense of confidence, but I also acknowledge both sides. So, you know, when you get a huge shakeout that lands on a ascending trend line and it's the first massive shakeout, well, you know, I felt pretty confident that we would get a nice bounce play there. That's why I took the trade, right? So, you know, there definitely are some plays that where you can have an edge and have a much higher level of confidence to pull the trigger. Those are generally the type of plays that I like to take, right? It also means that I undertrade and I'm very picky, right? You know, in the current market conditions where we have a black swan and it's all based on timing, it's all based on the hypothesis of will we have one more rally before the blood? And I think a lot of that will probably have to do with market movers on Bitfinex, right? If they want to push the price up for a nice exit, then you know, then we'll probably see a rally. But the issue is we've also got a lot of new money. A lot of new money means a lot of scared money. Will we get that rally with all the new scared money? They don't know what the heck's going on with all of this hard fork drama. They haven't been following it for 2 years, right? might be a little bit complicated for people. It might be a big scary event. A lot of new people haven't experienced a black swan event. They haven't experienced a major exchange hack. They haven't experienced, Ethereum falling to garbage after the DAO hack. They haven't experienced these things. So this could be like a really, really big deal for a lot of new money. For the veterans, this is kind of like business as usual. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, some more blockchain drama. Oh, maybe a hard fork, some more battle. I mean, I think the only people who are really scared are people who don't know how to trade. I think that personally myself, I'm kind of excited about it. I know that sounds twisted, but it means we're going to get out of this chop. We're going to get some volatility. Some nice bounce plays. I mean, I'm gonna be scalping. I think I'll probably be doing a scalping marathon when that happens. If you don't know how to scalp, then I'd say, start studying and training and get prepared. Don't come out onto the battlefield in the heat of battle asking how to scalp or short Bitcoin, right? Don't run out onto the battlefield with a wooden sword asking to learn how to fight. Right? If you don't know, then watch and learn and be patient. Maybe practice with small amounts. Right? And be patient. There's no rush. The markets are always going to be here. You don't have to rush the process. You don't have to FOMO. Kill your fear. Forget about FOMO. Fear of missing out. Kill it. Miss out. Miss out a half a dozen times on things. Sit back and watch and miss out and be comfortable with that. Kill that fear of missing out. Fear of loss. Kill it. Right? Just understand the risks. Acknowledge the risks. Don't be blind and married to your opinions and TA. Look at the risks right in the face. Paint the worst case scenario for yourself before you enter into a trade and ask yourself if you're comfortable with that risk. And if the answer is yes, then pull the trigger and take the trades. And if the answer is no, you're not comfortable, you're shaking like a leaf, then maybe your position size is a little bit too much for you to chew and you need to scale back and take smaller trades so you can be comfortable with it. Adjust the risk to a level that you're comfortable with, right? If I was in all-in 100x YOLO on Bitcoin, do you think I'd be comfortable with that risk? Heck no. I wouldn't be comfortable with that risk, so I don't take crazy risks like that, right? You're running a marathon. It's not a race. Yeah, I scalp on BitMEX. Right? And if you don't have scalping experience and you haven't practiced small amounts, then sure, come into the battlefield, practice along, play along with people. But maybe risk like $20 or something. You don't have to go YOLO and risk thousands and thousands of dollars and whatever. Respect the process. Be comfortable. Right? What gives you confidence? Experience. There are no shortcuts for experience. You could listen to me on these updates all day, every single day, going on and on and on about trading. I can't hand you experience. I can show you from what I've learned in my experience, but I can't give you that experience. Right? You could be a passenger in the car all day long, but it doesn't mean you know how to drive the car unless you're in the driver's seat. So that's that. That's all I want to say, right? So be prepared, and if you're completely new, even if the markets go up, I just want to warn you, there is a black swan event. It can get a little crazy and chaotic. If you're not comfortable with that and you've been buying at higher levels, then maybe you need to go closer into a neutral position and wait it out. Right? There's nothing wrong with sitting on the sidelines safe if you're not sure how to handle it and you have way more money than you're comfortable in losing. If you bought Bitcoin, sub $1,000 and you weren't buying it, above 2,000, then you've got some wiggle room, right? Maybe you can have stronger hands. So just acknowledge that, right? Everyone has to decide that for themselves, what's right for them, right? And you're not going to miss out if you sit on the sidelines and you don't know, you're not comfortable or confident enough in your trading, and you're still learning, and you bought in at higher prices. You know, if you miss out, you miss out, right? I guarantee you, if you've been buying in at these higher prices on any of these markets, Ethereum and Bitcoin or whatever, and you feel like, you know, you feel scared of missing out, I've got news for you. You've already missed out. You've already missed out. You're not going to likely be the one that's going to get rich in the next couple of months, because you're the one buying people's bags that were buying in months ago at the beginning of the year for dirt cheap. For this cycle. Right? Patience. There'll always be other cycles. And I don't want to be harsh. I just want people to stay safe and acknowledge the risks. And believe me when I tell you this, everything that you're buying right now, unless it's some new token that just hit, unless you're flipping some quick ICO, every established coin that you're buying, you are buying people's bags who accumulated that stuff in the gutter, in the absolute gutter, for pennies on the dollar last year and in the first couple of months, you know, January, February. You know, you're buying people's bags. Is Ripple a good investment? Well, you know, you ask people who bought it at half a penny what they think about 40-cent, 30-cent Ripple. Does it mean it can't go up? Sure it can. Is like, what do you think of Litecoin? Is Litecoin a good investment? Ask people who bought it between $3 and $4. What about ATC? Should I buy some $20 ATC? Ask people who accumulated at 80 cents to $1. Right? What about Ethereum? Ask people who bought Ethereum at $6 to $7 a few months ago. We're not talking about these prices were like, you know, years ago. We're talking about a few months ago. We're talking about the beginning of the year. Right? Will it be a good trade or an investment? That all depends if new money comes in. It's the greater fool theory. If there's new money that comes in that is willing to buy your bags that you bought in, then you can make a profit. If that new money dries up and there's no one left to buy your bags at a higher price, then I hate to break it to you, you missed the boat and you might bag hold. Right? That's the brutal truth of the markets. I don't want to sugarcoat anything for anybody. Right? Does that, I'm not trying to paint the bear picture here. I'm just trying to be a realist. I don't have any attachment to bull or bear whatsoever. I really don't. Right? If you came in late, there's no reason to be upset about that. You know, I came in late too, guys. When I came in 2013, I thought I was late. I was looking at these OGs buying Bitcoin at like $1, 50 cents, $10, whatever, and I almost got into it at 2012, but I didn't have perseverance and I didn't understand why the wallet was taking forever to sink, so I quit. And I could have had my $10 Bitcoins too, and I didn't. And I missed out, and I came in the 2013 bubble, and I thought I said, man, I missed out. That's terrible, And I thought I was a noob. But compared to the veterans who bought in a couple years before me, I thought I was a latecomer. And now 4 years later, now I'm a veteran. And I look back at the people who came before me, and these guys were like real experimental early adopters, because Bitcoin was only around for a few years prior to me joining. Right? So, there's always an opportunity. So learn how to trade. There's nothing wrong with being late to the party. You got to start somewhere. You got to respect the process, right? I see a big ugly head and shoulders on Ethereum right now. That's what I see. I personally wouldn't be buying Ethereum, even if it goes up. I personally wouldn't be doing it. That's just me. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong, right? I've underestimated markets before. Maybe it rallies, maybe it goes to 500, but I've just got simple rules, right? These rules kind of keep me solvent. Doesn't mean I miss out on things, yes, but my rules are I don't really touch things that make these kind of moves. Once they're up like that, once they start to look drippy in the distribution. Now, You know, if it dumped and had a big bloody red candle, I'd sure as heck buy a dip. You better believe I'd buy a dip for the bounce play. Absolutely. Right? You know, I had to be really, you know, I reaccumulated Ethereum, and I had to be really patient. For those who were with me at the time, you remember we were in this bear channel, and, you know, there's people trying to buy dips all day long and just getting, I mean, in hindsight, I guess you could have bought at any price and it would have been profitable. You could have bought up here and been profitable. It wouldn't have been smart, but, you know. So I just waited. I waited, you know, and then I waited till we broke out of this channel and went into accumulation, and then I bought. Did I sell too soon? Yeah, sure, I sold too soon. Did it go up higher than I thought? Yeah, absolutely. Did I nail the accumulation zone? Definitely nailed it. So, if I want some more Ethereum, and I'm bullish on Ethereum long term, then guess what? I'm going to be patient. Wait. I had to wait months before I could get into accumulation. You know, the bear trend started here. Right on the Dow hack. Boom. See that candle right there? The bear trend started there. You know why the bear trend started there? Because we broke this ascending triangle. This was the bear trend. Check it out. Right? This is the bear trend, and prior support trend line had to get tested and turned into resistance. Then it went sideways, choppy. We had this little garbage rally leading up to the DevCon, and, you know, I guess it faked some people out or whatever, and then it just went, or wherever the DevCon was there, and then we went into bear channel, and not very good bounce plays. It was a slow grind down, and then wait for the accumulation, right? And being patient. You want to make all the money. Being patient means being able to wait it out for months and see the bigger picture. You know, not have to, like, always feel like you need to be in a trade all the time. You know, if you don't have an edge, then you're better off not trading. I'm telling you, the markets right now are very, very choppy. I'm not seeing a whole lot of edge in a lot of things right now. Even my Bitcoin long doesn't feel like it has a lot of edge to it. I do it anyways because I respect the breakout on the descending trend line, but, you know, this isn't my best Bitcoin long, right? It's not the juiciest Bitcoin long I've been in, right? I'm not feeling a lot of momentum right now. It could be very choppy and undecided still, and I'm okay with that. It's fine, but it also means I'm under trading now. I'm being excruciatingly picky. If anything, I want to get out of my bags and not into other ones, unless I see a play that just screams at me. But I'm tightening up my targets. If I see a play that screams at me, then maybe you know, maybe I'll go for like a 30% move. So do you search the top caps each day to look for opportunities, or how do you recommend to look for opportunities across the various markets? So, you know, a good way to do that is you look at Poloniex, right, as one, or on the other market, or CoinMarketCap, right? And, you know, you can get a general sense of movements, right? Like if I was looking at this and I saw something that said like -50 in the red, then my next step would be to take a look at the chart and say, oh man, there's a lot of panic selling that happened. You know, the deeper the blood, depending on how far down it fell, the higher the opportunity would be for me to catch a nice bounce play. Maybe I want to scoop up some of that red. If it's down -50, then maybe it'll bounce up +20 in a day or so, right? So that's one way I look. I look for max blood, and then I'll also look for gainers as well. You know, now if I see something, oh, something's up a bunch, then I'll take a peek, like, why is it breaking out? Like, what's up with this? Is it liquid? Is it illiquid? But, you know, a lot of this, you look at the price movement, it's very choppy. -5, the other day it was up 5, you know, -1. It's very choppy, very sideways, very undecided, right? The safest play, honestly, if you're looking for the safe play right now, the safest play is just to sit in dollars, right? Well, I'm in a, I bought back into Bitcoin. See if we can ride up one last push up. Maybe the Bitfinex market makers will push the price up for an exit, right? They in the trading world, they sometimes call that exit pumps or exit rallies, right? We shall see. That's a hypothesis. But I'll tell you, I'm not going to be holding a lot of Bitcoin a couple weeks leading up to August 1st. That's just my game plan. I would rather be sitting on a bunch of cash, and if there's absolute chaos in the market, then I'll have some nice dip buying opportunities, right? That's what I would rather be doing. So, that's just me. Right? Alright. So one question is, will you then be holding fiat on exchanges in preparation? And the question is, yes. I will be. Multiple different exchanges holding USD. Ready to trade. Is there any risk that comes with that? Sure. Does it matter if it's USD or USDT? For me, it doesn't make a difference. I'm not withdrawing USD or USDT from the exchanges. There's no withdrawals. It's a hedge for trading. It's all credits when it's sitting on an exchange. It's all IOUs. Even your Bitcoin you're trading on exchanges, all IOUs, right? It only becomes hard money when you withdraw it, right? Well, when I hedge into dollars on exchange, it makes no difference as long as it's stable, So if it's on Poloniex or Bitrex, then USDT is the only option for a stable hedge. And if it's on, Bitfinex or Kraken or Quadriga or whatever, then USD is the only option. And if it's on, BitMEX, then there isn't really an option except for shorting based on the exact dollar amount of your account. But I'll probably reduce my Bitcoin size on BitMEX, use a little bit of leverage, and just use that for scalping. Just accumulate more Bitcoin on the big bounces and the chaos, right? It's all good. That'll be where I'll be doing all my scalping on BitMEX, right? Even if that means having a whole Bitcoin in my deposit account to do that, that's where I'm going to be scalping. And the reason for that is because of quick order execution as well as lower fees, right? A decent trade engine and the ability to use a bit of leverage if I want, right? So I have to keep less on the exchange. So that's my game plan. And all the other exchanges, I'm just going into dollars. Now, I want to see if I can squeeze some more dollars out of Bitcoin before I make that decision. So that's why I'm long. See if we can squeeze some more dollars in the next week or so, right? And if it flops and I can't, we break down, then I'm gonna exit. I'm not gonna bag hold. I'm gonna exit. Boom, right? So all I can say is everyone has to have their own plan. I'm just sharing with you what my plan is, my game plan is. Does that mean that my plan is infallible and that I'll be absolutely 100% right without any risk of being wrong? No, it doesn't mean that. I can be wrong, right? I'll adapt if I am wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll adapt, right? I'm very adaptable. I'm not married to my opinions. But everyone has to make that decision for themselves. What feels right for you. Right? And if you're not sure, then maybe sitting on your hands and being in a neutral position in dollars just might be the right move for you until you figure that out. And if you're too new and you don't understand what I'm talking about, or you don't have a plan, then really, honestly, if you're new, please do not risk more money than you can afford to lose. I know we say that and it sounds cliche, but I'm serious. Like, there's no rush. If you start off your trading career taking a massive loss, then you're going to be at a big disadvantage, and then you might be scarred from that, and then that might impact your emotions while you're trading in the future. You might be scared moving forward because you don't want to take another loss, and all this stuff, right? So I just want everybody to be completely aware of the risks. Anyways, so I mean, this market alert is mostly, market update is mostly based on fundamentals and a bit of technicals, and I could look at a bunch of altcoin markets right now, but I'm not really that interested in loading up on more altcoins right now. I'm just not, right? Not until things blow over and so on and so forth. Not until, you know, we see some blood and I see some opportunities. I just feel like a lot of the markets are very choppy. Even the mid caps, they're just very, very choppy. I mean, you know, one mid cap that I'm in that's been performing fairly well, I'm still riding, is Edgeless. You know, they've got some fundamentals and stuff, and we had a little breakout yesterday, right? Someone had threw up some sell walls and those got chewed up, so. But, you know, I've been riding Edgeless since, like, you know, 5 cents or something like that, right? So, you know, I might have a stronger tolerance for volatility and risk with Edgeless when I bought at 5 cents, right? If you're just buying Edgeless now, then you might not have the same level of risk tolerance of people who bought it at 5 cents. That's why I always like to buy things cheap. And yeah, it's up 600% on the dollar. Yeah, absolutely. Like, we bought it on day one. I sent a trade alert. The first day it hit the exchange on Liqui, I sent out a trade alert when it was down here. And look where it's doing. Still, you know, this has been like a really, really nice performer, right? This is like an absolute home run, right? So, I mean, look at that. We bought down here, literally. You know? Literally at the bottom. Yeah, I'm still holding some. You know, so I'm up like 835% just from riding it and doing nothing. Buying cheap and doing nothing, really. I mean, how hard is that? You wonder why I'm not, you know, emotional about my trades, because, I mean, you know, you buy dirt cheap, you ride it, and it goes up a ton. What's there to be emotional about? Now, if you're buying up here, you know, if you're buying tops, well, that doesn't really give you an edge, now does it? You're buying someone else's bags at 750%. Just think about that. It could still go up, but just think about that. Be picky. How emotional would I be buying the top right now? Let's say if I bought the top, it would probably be a trade based on emotion. Because if I followed my rules, I wouldn't be buying it at these high prices. Just my personal rules. What I think of PVEX? Well, I think it's a market that's gone up 1 billion%. I think it could definitely be traded, but, you know, like, it depends. Like, I'm not touching it myself. I don't care if it goes up 10x. I'm not touching it. But that's just me. That's just me. Is this bull trend still intact? You know, one can say that, you know, yes, it's making higher lows, right? It bounced a whole bunch from the depth, 228%. You know, in fact, if you line this up with some fib retracements, You know, you can see that, you know, anytime you have like a relative illiquid market, generally the 78% retrace level is a good dip buying opportunity, right? So this would have been like where I would want to buy some of this. And you've got this inverse head and shoulders here, right? Boom, 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 break out of the neckline. So, you know, you've got the immediate breakout from here. But I would say the time for all the early bird entries are over. Now you know, now it's kind of mid-range. Right? Could still be bullish. Still producing higher lows. But, you know, buying here, or, you know, on the second dip and this breakout, those would have been the better entries. And then, you know, anything up higher obviously comes with more risk. So, and it all depends, you know, if one is buying PVEX as a long-term investment, I personally don't think that's a good idea. Could I be wrong? Could it go up higher? Sure. But I don't like buying anything. The only time I like buying things that long-term investment is accumulation. Right down here in the gutter. That's the only time that I like doing that. Everything else, when it starts to move and does all this, you know, it starts doing backflips and stuff, everything else at that point is just a trade for me. Not long-term. I have Ethereum Classic as a long-term investment. You know why? Because I bought it in the gutter. Right? I have some CFI as a long-term investment. It's in the gutter. It's still in the gutter. IOTA. Pretty choppy stuff. Let's see what kind of bounces it produced. If I traded anything like this, it'd be a big target. There's not a lot of range on this, though. You know, like you could have bought the bottom and maybe got a squeeze 28%. So, not a heck of a lot of you know, good range. Obviously, here had bigger range, but it's very choppy. This isn't a very clean chart. It's only trading on one exchange. Market cap is way too high, in my opinion, for a new market. So, I mean, I would trade this, but it would have to produce some nice big moves. Possibility of a double bottom right here. Triple bottom, maybe. Definitely a possibility. So, but if I were to trade it, I would almost treat it kind of like a margin trade, right? If I were to go long, then I definitely would have an exit. And, you know, it'd be simple, like maybe risk 4%. And if it can bounce, you know, see if I squeeze 20%, 4.86 to 1. This wouldn't be like one of, you know, buy and hold, because the market cap is so big. If the market cap was in the gutter, then yeah, I'd say, okay, well, I'll buy it and I'll just be patient. And if I bleed minus 20 or 30 or whatever, I can be patient and whatever, right? But it's a high market cap, only trading on one exchange, so, you know, definitely could be a quick little bounce here, you know. But I'd have like quicker targets personally myself, and I would have an exit, which would be the breakdown. So there could be a little move. There could be a, you know, triple bottom type of thing, or quadruple bottom, 1 2 3 4. You know, it's kind of produced this little W here, but it's choppy, right? It's choppy. It could roll over. So yeah, there could be a little edge there, buying here at support if it bounces. I wonder what the volume is on IOTA. Let me just take a peek. Still number 8, 3.4 million. So it's okay. Someone asking about ETC. take a look at ETC. Obviously, ETC is on the edge. ETC is on the edge, slowly breaking down. Ish. Slowly kind of going sideways. One sec. Let's remove all this clutter. You know, this... I'm not terribly concerned right now. But you're also talking to somebody who's still riding ETC from, you know, a $2 breakout, right? So don't let my nonchalance affect your trading decisions if you've been loading the boat up at 20 bucks. Right? I could be a lot more relaxed when I'm riding something that I'm up a 10x on than someone who's been buying up much higher. This is why it's always important that people make their own trading decisions. My risk tolerance might be a lot different than yours if you loaded the boat at 20 bucks. And so not everything I do in my own personal trades will be suitable or good for you. And I personally cannot give people trading advice. Right? Sometimes it's correlated with Ethereum. Sometimes it's not. It's been very, you know, it's consolidating. This is kind of like a bull pennant, right? So, you know, we've tested prior resistance turn support over here. You know, if I look at the trading volume on classics, it's not bad. It's pushing 58 million, not quite as high as Ethereum. If I look at the buy support, it's not really making a big move. Like, it's changed today. It was like minus 0.03 or whatever on Poloniex. So it's not really doing a heck of a lot. If it's not doing a heck of a lot, that means I'm not doing a heck of a lot, right? And someone's saying there's a first ETC ICO that starts in a couple days. So yeah, maybe if it's popular, that can create some buying pressure. Right? Definitely possible. We could definitely, you know, possibly see a bounce off of this trend line. Right? And we could also see a breakdown. You know, we break down here, that's one breakdown level, and then the other breakdown level would be down here. You know, we could, if it breaks down here, then it's possible it could create a double bottom. And if that breaks down, then obviously, you know, the larger trend's probably toast. You know, if that broke down, well, it could kill this trend line. Right? But does it, you know, would that be cause for panic? You know, if I want to get out of the position, I just wait for it to bounce. If it bounces, buy support's still good on Poloniex. 3,700 bitcoins. It's not bad. But you know, if you don't have any ETC, then in my opinion, the better play would be waiting for a breakout or maybe buying a dip. You know. When would I buy more since I'm in so low? Anything that I would buy from this point on would just be specifically for a trade. So obviously if we broke down here, tested this area and trend line, then I'd maybe scoop up some more, probably for a bounce. Maybe exit, you know, some of my old position and the new dip buy position if we bounced and if this prior support turned resistance, something like that. Especially if it was a sharp washout candle, then that's probably how I would handle it. But I've got a lot of leeway. Nothing Ethereum Classic can do could actually cause me to lose money. I could only lose paper profit, but not actual money, because you know my breakout trade was like down here. I sent out the trade alert down here, right? Obviously gives me a lot of wiggle room, doesn't it? And that's the reward you get when you ride trends, right? Do I have 100% of my original position from here? Nope, I don't. I did take some profit. That's fine. Not recently, but along the way. I still have a good position. And you know, the so far, because it's Black Swan, you know, the moments of easy trading, you know, buying in something and, you know, riding the trend. So far, where will I cut out my 50%? You know, I think that easy money is over right now. We might get another couple rounds or another round, but there's no guarantee, right? This was like the easy money days. I'm planning on selling 50% of my bags if we hit up here. If we break down, I'm not just going to panic sell. I'll probably just wait for the bounce and then I would exit. Yeah, so someone's saying, Chris saying easy money will come on the next bloodbath. Yeah, you know, I mean, now, trading blood definitely requires a little bit more attentiveness and a little bit more work than just riding a trend and sitting back and eating popcorn. It's easy when you get in dirt cheap and then sit back and watch everyone else move the markets. That's the easiest trade setup you can take. When the markets are bleeding dry, definitely takes a little bit more vigilance. Definitely some more work involved, but if you know what you're doing, it can be very, very profitable. So that's it for now. I'm really under trading right now. Unless you guys see something that super gives you an edge. You know, we have a class today at 2 p.m. So that's it for today's video. I'll see you at class. Cheers.